Hey, what up? How you guys doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. This is your boy, the Solo Traveler ORD. Thanks for checking in with us on another video. Of course, you guys know that I've been creating content basically focused on marriage and family. So here's another live that I'm doing referencing, you know, relationship, marriage, and so forth, especially in Colombia. So before we get going, I want to make sure you guys, hey, don't forget to subscribe for those of you that's watching. Even on the playback, don't forget to subscribe and like, as well as you can leave a tip, a donation, whatever, super chat. Go ahead, don't be hesitant, don't be scared to do that. So, first off, I'm gonna say what up to Razor. Thanks for coming through, man. Appreciate you being here. You know what I mean? So, the person I want to bring up, in reference to the subject, I want to bring up my good buddy, which is No Excuse. We've been doing several content together for a long time. One thing about him is that, and I'm glad that I had a chance to witness him getting married in Colombia. So we went down to Cartagena. This was roughly, I believe, at least about to be a year, sometime last year in April in 2022. And we had a great time, especially at his wedding. So moving forward from that point on, I want to do a check-in with him to see how things is going with the whole new wedding situation, because I'm sure a lot of you guys would like to know, what is it like being married to a Colombiana or just being married to a foreign woman in general. So it's one of the reasons why I wanted to do the broadcast and just to get his perspective from his side. Of course, you guys know how my perspective has been, within my marriage and so forth. So I want to give another person perspective. So without any further ado, I'm gonna bring up my good buddy, my friend, No Excuse Passport Bro podcast.
Yo, what's good, bro, man? Glad you invited me, man.
No problem, but I'm glad that you showed up.
Yes, sir.
So, but yeah, the last time we did a live together was it's probably been like 6 months or so on my platform, that is, besides your platform.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man. Glad to see you back up and running.
Yeah, no, it took a while. Of course, you guys know that I've been very busy with the other business and so forth. But nonetheless, things started to slow down. I could start making content for you guys on YouTube and so forth. So, and of course, the first person I got to do something with is No Excuse. So I got to give it up for him again.
Yes, sir, man. We got a lot in store, man.
Yeah, that's true. So, but before we get into the meat of everything, so let me know, what's your perspective with this whole Valentina situation, that DJ, and as well as there's that one foreigner that made the video that you did a live on last night in reference to he was staying at the Hilton and he got robbed. So I want to get your perspective on both of those two stories, if you don't mind.
Yeah, man. I mean, well, with the DJ, the female that was a Colombian DJ in Bogota, I think it's, things like that probably happen all the time. Me being a visitor to Colombia, Colombian wife, locals, they take any bad press and they, and now they're highly sensitive to, dealing with foreigners and things of that nature. So, my concern is that it doesn't increase any form of xenophobia, and foreigners will still be welcome. You know what I mean? Like, we all know that there's always some bad apples, whether it's foreigners not respecting the country, or tourists dealing with crime in the country. So I think it's sad and unfortunate. And like I talked about last night, Latinas is not for everybody. And I don't know what happened in that particular situation. You know what I mean? But for what he did, it was evident that he snapped and he couldn't manage whatever anger that he was dealing with. And so and some people are not built to handle that. Some people just need easygoing, super peaceful situation. And sometimes you might not get that, especially dealing with Latinas. And I guess I'll probably get into some of that.
That's true.
And then
Facts, no offense.
Dealing with Latinas, boy, they a little something.
And then the dude in Cartagena, man. How should I say this? He just made some. He made some rookie mistakes. And maybe he's not a rookie, but he made some mistakes that a lot of people in the travel spaces have been reiterating. It's like, be very wary and stay away from a lot of these dating apps, because we kind of know the type of people that are using these apps. And if you're looking for a genuine interaction, those dating apps, especially like Tinder, it has proven it hasn't been the best vehicle to meet genuine interactions. So
that's right. We noticed that a lot of these robberies have taken place from people using Tinder.
Yeah. So he seemed like he was a little thirsty. He didn't plan ahead, so he was last minute trying to find something on Tinder, and he got.
That's true. I know that the video has said that Bumble, or that he actually used Bumble while he was down there. So I wasn't sure. Have you ever dealt with Bumble down there? Is that even an app that's even used down there?
It's not a common app. I mean that's surprising, because apps like Bumble, what's the other one like Bumble? Those apps typically are better to meet regular women.
Like POF, Plenty of Fish.
Not Plenty of Fish. It's another swiping app like Bumble. I can't think of the name right now, but Bumble. I would have thought Bumble would have been safe, but maybe that's why he had his guard down, because he used an app like that's not really known for setting up. And like I said yesterday, and I think Rob from Sweet Georgia Cafe mentioned this as well. He said most of the girls that's in the situation where they're drugging or setting up these guys, most of these girls are not prostitutes. They're acting as if they are a woman that's offering a good time, but a lot of them women are just women that just in for in for the lit. And so I think some of the vets down there say, if you are looking for that pay for play, those sites are not where you should be even going. So
yeah, it's true. I remember going down to Colombia when I first started going. They never even was using the apps or so. It was all about word of mouth. Whenever you met women, and you always wanted to meet or knew somebody who knew of a good woman. That's how you got introduced. So with these new apps, I think the only app I actually used perhaps was Columbia Cupid. That's the only one, which the website. But besides that, I've never used any app ever.
Yeah, and the guy, I think his name is Obi. He did the video talking to one of the organizers, like that's basically setting up. He had talked to like one of the ringleaders. Obi, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I saw that video.
Yeah, so and when he did the video, he said the girls that he uses to set up guys, he was like, he foreigners like big butts and big breasts, so he basically baits them, on these apps. So when guys try to, like when I used to go on the dating apps, I typically wanted to go for like the average looking woman. I didn't want to set myself up and just try to talk to just like the finest, sexiest thing on apps, because a lot of times it's like it's too good to be true, and that's probably what happened in this case. Yeah, Obi Land, it probably was too good to be true, and that's what happens a lot of times, man. It's too good to be true, and he found out, unfortunately, the hard way.
Yeah, exactly. But I gotta give a shout out to some of the people actually in here. We got Shay Star. Gotta give it up for Razor Raise.
Raise the raise.
That's right. Gotta give it up for Black Man Travel.
Black Man Travel, what up, bro?
For all you guys. We appreciate you guys being here. So, but yeah, OB Land. You know, also Razor Raise, he says, them kinds of women have no intentions of sleeping with men, only trying to drug and rob men. Exactly, that's facts.
Facts, no fencing.
You know, so we got Pablo in the building. Yo, what up, Pablo?
What up, Pablo? Pablo be having me cracking up, man.
Good. So let's go ahead and get to the meat of things, man. About this whole marriage life. You know, I know a lot of people are very interested in this whole experience, especially for us traveling brothers. You know, whether you be a blue book gentleman, passport bro, or just a traveler, whatever you want to consider yourself, it doesn't matter. So, with you being married for this long, well, how many months have you been married for so far?
Man, I'm like, let me see, 10 months. 10 months. Yeah, 10 months. Yeah, man, 10 months.
Is it, like, basically the marriage, is it what you expected it to be?
Well, here's the thing. When people ask me about, like, how marriage is going or how's the married life, like, it's never supposed to be a difference. Like, what I got in my relationship dating her is what I got in a marriage. The only difference is, the biggest difference is financial responsibility. Because before we was married, you know, I made it a point that I wasn't financially responsible for her, and that I wasn't going to be financially responsible for her. So if I did, you know, help her out sometimes, it was, you know what I mean, it was sparingly. And you know, once I became her husband, then she became my financial responsibility. So that's the main difference.
Oh, nice. So how's she taking it? She's enjoying it?
I mean, I think she's I won't say enjoying it. I mean, there's still some growing pains, you know, because certain things she kind of expect to move a little faster, you know, and so, you know, life happens, you know what I mean, some things, you know, life throws curveballs, so some things that she may have wanted to see has taken a little longer, but you know what I mean, but she made, you know, she's happy about me being her husband. I know she is excited and anticipate all the things we have talked about and plans for the future. You know, but you know, I think she's, you know, her patience, you know, they're very patient. I think her patience is getting a little thin, because she wants me to be there more on a full-time basis, and I'm still kind of back and forth and things of that nature. And then, you know, right now we're working on a living situation as well, dealing with the rising costs in Colombia, and, you know, me having to, you know, adjust to that as well, because I went in looking at Colombia as being this type of affordability, and now it's different. And so it's like, you know, it's some things, but I'll let you ask me some questions, and I might get into more detail about that.
No problem. Well, we know one thing for a fact, that Colombianas, their patience are like this long. You know, so they want everything like yesterday. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you got the same issue or not. I won't even say issue, but it's just that's just how they are. I'm not sure if you have that same situation or so.
I mean, from a relationship standpoint, I mean, I feel like she's been patient. Even Colombianas I dated in the past, I feel like they're patient as far as dealing with a long distance relationship. You know, they can go a month or two, you know what I mean, without seeing you all the time, because they feel, due to the proximity, we feel close to them, being 3 hours away, you know what I mean, basically from Florida. So they feel close, just like Dominicans. It feels close, so they don't really feel like it's that bad. Opposed to like Brazilians, like it feels for them, it feels far away. But for Colombians, it feels close, so they're more patient in a relationship realm. But you know,
What about for like accomplishing goals and things like that?
I mean, accomplishing goals. I mean, yeah, yeah, because I made certain promises, or I made some promises, but like I talked to my mom about this, and she was like, sometimes, she's still relatively young. My mom was like, sometimes women have to understand that things can happen. You can say you're going to do this or do that, and then a curveball can happen. You could get laid off from work, or you can have an unexpected expense that come up. So just have to be adaptable. So I think I think she struggles with that a little bit. But hey, what can she do? You know what I mean? I am the bag. I'm the bag. You know what I mean? And so, things are back on. I mean, things are on course. So, right now we're just working out the living situation. She thought she was thinking I was being trying to be cheap on an apartment, but I'm just like, when I started traveling to Colombia, like this is how much stuff was going. And so, it took me a while to realize that inflation has increased, cost of living. And so what I thought I'd be, paying or taking care of a foreign woman, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. And that's only due to inflation. Now, the only good thing is since I started traveling over 5 years ago to now, my wages is up. So my wages can accommodate for the inflation. But for guys that's looking for a country that they could afford to take care of a woman, Colombia, might be a challenge for a lot of guys. That's why I try to introduce other countries that are probably at the economic level Colombia was 5 years ago.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because right now everybody dealing with inflation, and that's one of the things that's actually messing up just about every country at this point, especially ours. And my wife, I had to show my wife the difference, what is inflation and how things used to be and how things are now. But that's something that she was struggling with here in the States with me, because she didn't understand. First, she needed to understand the money, the difference between Colombian and American money, the exchange rate and so forth. Then, after she started working, within 1 year, she started understanding being so damn cheap, which I'm not being cheap. I'm just watching out what I'm doing because of the fact that I see inflation is hitting. So, but until when she had to make a couple purchases and notice how much more it costs, that's when she was like, I'm gonna have to slow down here.
So they have to understand that the buck stops with us. If we mismanage money, we can't be like, well, I was trying to please you and do that, because at the end of the day, you the man. So, you gotta do. That's one thing about marriage and women and being a I guess if you want to call it alpha man, you have to stand firm, regardless of how she feel, attitude. You have to stand firm. And what I've learned with women, especially women that's down for you, they could be mad for a day, but the next day they'll be okay.
Yeah, that's true. That's facts. So one of the other questions I wanted to ask you is, what are your expectation for the future, or what are your goals? Because you said that you were thinking about moving down to Colombia. Is that something that you're definitely going to do? And when you do, what type of spot are you looking to purchase? Are you looking to purchase a house or a condo or anything of that nature, or apartment?
Well, it's either Colombia or South Africa. So we're gonna go to South Africa at the end of this year for a month, and I'm gonna see how she feels about it. But it's either going to be one of those two. But I would say in the short term, we'll be in Colombia, renting. I don't want to buy anything until I get permanent residency, because now I got temporary residency. And so those that don't know, you're usually a temporary resident for 2 or 3 years before you could apply for permanent residency. And so I don't want to buy anything as a temporary residency, because Colombia could switch up, you know what I mean? And then now I done bought a crib. I'm only can be a tourist or whatever for less than 6 months. And you know what I mean, to be honest, like, it's in her country. So if for whatever reason I couldn't come back to Colombia, she got a crib. You know what I mean? So I want it to be our crib, you know. And so to protect myself, I want to make sure that I have residency in her country before I buy. And I explained that to her, and she understands that. So you know, so that's that.
If they would have had like switch things up, you could turn that into that like investment property, and you could use the investment visa. How many years do you have to be on that before you become a citizen?
Well, the investment visa, they done changed it up so much, like it's not even worth getting it. You know, it's not even worth getting it. They've updated the visa rules like this summer, and pretty much I think I talked about the investment visa, like business. Either it's, you know, they've changed it to, I don't remember the details, but it basically wasn't worth it. Like the only visas that's really worth having in Colombia is either marriage visa, first. The second, I would say beneath that is either some type of retirement visa, or they have the what is it called? Civil, pretty much like a civil union. So you in a relationship with a woman, and you've demonstrated that y'all have either share a bank account, or y'all have an apartment together or home, and so you can get a visa like that. Jarvis from Black Travel Company, he has that type of visa because he has a girlfriend in Cartagena. So
shout out to him, to Jarvis. Hey, make sure you guys hit him up. We actually did a tour in Bora Bora, Cartagena, and Jarvis, he set the whole thing up. I don't know if you guys seen my Bora Bora video, but yo, check that out. He actually set that up. We have VIP everything, and all for the low. I think I didn't spend no more than less than $200, you know, for two people. So it's well worth it. And I gotta get him on the show too.
oh yeah. Black Travel Company, yeah, he's doing it. He's doing it.
Yep. We got this one message here from Pablo Fresco Bar. He said, I met my lady on Facebook. I choose women who I can't see with their families.
Yeah.
Like that. And we got Bert in the building talking about good evening, fellas.
What up, Bert?
So after you guys got married, I want to know if you had this same situation that I had with my wife. So for about a couple of months, we were going back and forth about her name change because she was afraid that she would lose herself, you know, with me, and she wanted to have one thing that she had from her past, which was her last name. But of course, I won that battle, no matter what. So did you have any issues with that?
With the name change, trying to think. I didn't really. She didn't have an issue with it. I just know that traditionally, like different Latin countries do things differently. But in Colombia, traditionally, when people get married, they don't touch their name. Yeah. And so, I didn't have a problem with doing that at first. But then part of me was like, I want her to carry my name. It's just, you know, part of me wanted it too. So, it was more of how what her name was going to be. So, some people in the notary was saying that, you know, she should just take the American format and just be her first name and my last name, because, you know, Colombians, they have like hyphenated last names, like the father and the mother. And so, I didn't want her name to be totally Americanized because if we have a child, I want our child to carry that format. So basically, they just take away they take away the mother's last name. So it's her first name, her father, her mother, and then they took away the mother last name. So it's her first name, her father last name, and then my last name. So we have a traditional Latin naming format.
Yeah, see, for my wife, she dropped her mother last name, kept her father last name, and added mine. So I was like, we're gonna change this because once we start doing registration for school and things like that with kids, I don't want them to be looking like who's this guy picking up this child, or is that really your child? So
Right,
I'm like, I'm thinking ahead, like you better get that name changed. I want to make sure we all one unit,
right,
and
right.
plus it makes it easier traveling, checking in because with TSA pre-check, they will not allow that person to be on your TSA pre-check if you guys don't have the same last name. So that's also
Mm.
an issue.
Yeah,
So
I wanted to do that too with traveling because, like, if we're trying to go to certain countries and we need visas, I don't want them to think like I'm trying to, smuggle a Colombian somewhere. Like, we got the same last name, we married. It's easy. If something was to happen to me in the U.S. and she wanted to, it'll be easier for her to prove she's my wife because she does carry my last name. So um, I have to kind of make her understand that too.
yeah, and plus it makes things easier with your insurance when you add it to your insurance if you do that. So because I actually had to add my wife to my insurance, and at first they were looking like I don't know, until I actually got the name changed. So it made things a bit better.
But it wasn't smooth. I paid a lawyer because he had inside people and they was able to get it done faster. But with her country, like she got to bring in like birth certificate. It's a fee. It took like maybe 2 months for her to get her ID, and then she had to renew her passport. So it was about 2 to 3 months to kind of get all that changed and updated.
Oh man, yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, my wife was telling me that it's a long process, so that's why we waited until after she came here to start the process, and I had to pay extra money with the UCIS and all that other stuff just to change her name. So that was like pretty rough.
Oh wow, wow, yeah.
Yeah. So what made you? Well, I know that you said that your goal you're thinking about living in South Africa. So for her, how long of a flight, a track is that for her, and her family, or if she want to return back to Colombia, see the family? How hard is that for her?
I mean, I looked at the routes. It'll take like maybe at least maybe a day and a half because she'll have to connect in like Europe, um, and then another country in Africa, then to get to South Africa. We're only going to be there for a month, just to see
Mm.
if she would like it or not. If she does like it, then I'll be working towards trying to get a retirement visa in South Africa, and do it like that. But if we did make that move and visit a family, it'll be kind of challenging because them plane tickets ain't no joke. Them plane tickets ain't no joke. You know,
You're doing it big. You're doing it big. Taking her across the globe. Traveling. What are you talking about? How many places have you taken her to so far?
I've taken her to. We've been to Brazil, Dominican Republic. Yeah, I think just Brazil and the Dominican Republic, and then different cities throughout Colombia. But yeah, internationally, just DR. Yeah, DR twice. We've been on the North Coast, the South Coast, and Punta Cana, and and then we've been to Brazil. I took her to two cities in Brazil.
How did she enjoy that experience? Did she enjoy it, or was it something different for her, or did she like it? Didn't like it?
Well, she did not like Brazil. She did not
Oh,
like
why not?
Brazil, man. I think probably one, the language, and then two, I think it was just too unfamiliar with her. She just couldn't. she just didn't vibe well with that, and she was just she just wasn't feeling it like that. But DR, she felt at home, like Santo Domingo. It reminded her a lot of Cartagena. Obviously Spanish speaking, so she felt at home. She actually likes DR a lot. So she likes Santo Domingo. She liked she didn't like Puerto Plata that much, but she liked Santo Domingo and obviously Punta Cana.
Yeah, man. Santo Domingo is my favorite spot in DR. I enjoy myself there. It reminds me so much of being, the city life and so forth. That's why I like Santo Domingo. So what city did you take her to in Brazil?
In Brazil, we went to Rio, and then we went to a city called Victoria, because I was like, trying to X off all these coastal cities I want to visit. But I noticed, like, and this don't have really anything to do with her being foreign. It's just women in general. Like, I noticed, like, certain places I've took her to, we just didn't vibe well. It's if it's a place where it's more ideal for fellas to go to, I could tell she not feeling the vibe because it's more like a fellas trip vibe. And then if it's places where I felt like we went to and it was more like a girls trip vibe, I wasn't feeling it like that. So, what I mean? Like, I realize there's just certain cities or places, like, I know we ain't gonna vibe to it because it's just gonna be more suited for her to. It's better for her to be with her girlfriends, and then there's certain places it's just better for me to be with my homeboys.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. Because like for me, I've taken my wife to several countries. I think about 4 different countries or so.
Mhm.
Had a great experience. But I haven't done Dominican Republic yet. I've been trying to take her to Dominican Republic, but she doesn't want to go yet. She want to lose some weight before she goes there. So she put a pause on that. I'm taking her to Punta Cana. I'm like, I want to go to Punta Cana. I'm ready to go back, but she's like, nah. She gonna wait a little bit.
When you go, don't put your location, man. You don't want no surprise somebody pop up.
It's an inside joke. He know how I do it. I have women all over the place, and they're crazy women too. So I don't want no drama. I got stalkers. But besides that, with that whole experience with your wife and so forth, did you take her while you guys were married, or was this before you guys got married?
The trips we went to, most of them was before we got married. I don't think we haven't traveled internationally since we've been married.
Okay. I want to see what the experience, if you notice any differences or any similarities or anything like that since you've been married and so. But nonetheless, for me, I think it was a little bit better now that we married and so forth. Traveling, they kind of respect us more because with her being Colombian, they're not really trying to like put her in the back room with that one light, dark room, and trying to interrogate her, asking if she has some, drugs or something like that. Because of her being Colombian, even I was getting searched.
I know one thing is it's more. I had a little bit more leeway to do solo traveling before we got married, and now we married. It's pretty much doing solo trips is pretty much like it's pretty. I don't want to say out the question, but I mean, I would say this: for every action, there'll be a reaction. So I try to tread lightly doing solo trips, at least until we live in the same. At least till we're around each other like on a permanent basis.
She still allows you, or not saying allow, but at least she has no issues with you traveling solo while you guys are married.
She don't have no issue, but then she's gonna be like, well, I could do it too. She gonna feel like she could do it too, and so it'll be kind of unfair for me to, you know, do something and then she like then say no, you can't do that or whatever the case may be. You know, I could do that, but then you a person could resent you. You know what I mean for that. So to keep the peace, I would just I'll take her to places with me because most of the things I want to do is for content anyway.
Yeah, which is true, man. One of my goals is that I want to take my wife to Paris because I went to Paris on my own, and it was nice, but I felt that it was one of those couples type of trip that you definitely want to bring your girl, your wife, whatever. So that's one of my goals, to take my wife to Europe and especially go to Paris. I want to go back.
Yeah, we're supposed to go. We might go to Paris. This was the plan for our anniversary. Um, so we might do Paris in a couple months, or we might do it on the way to Africa because we gotta connect in Paris anyway. So
Oh, nice.
we'll probably do a day or two in Paris.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I know she would love that.
Yeah, they love Europe, man. I'm like, I don't know what the fascination is, but they want to see Europe or whatever the case may be. So
Especially España. Yeah, they want to go to Spain and just, I don't know what it is about going to Spain with them.
eventually, your wife would be able to travel to. She could, well, with a green card, she could travel to the same countries you could with your passport, American passport.
I believe so, but I have to double check because I remember seeing something of that. But I think it's only for selected countries like Canada or Mexico or something like that. But I gotta double check just to be sure, because I definitely want to do more traveling with her, in the coming months or so. Only reason why I put that stuff on the hold because so much stuff been going on with the business and everything. But really soon I'll be ready to go out there and with her and we'll make some content and have fun.
Oh yeah, and I do have some free time when I do travel because a lot of times when we travel, when we travel, I'm usually meeting her. I'm usually there first, and she meets me there, and then she'll leave like a day or two earlier, just so I can make sure that she left safe. Because a lot of times we don't. I'm usually going back to the U.S. and she's going back to Florida. So yeah, I still have free time. In the beginning and towards the end of those trips. So you know.
Oh, how's that been working out? What the traveling back on for? Has it put any strain on the relationship or everything's all good?
No, everything is all good. I mean, this is something we've been doing. I mean, I'm there almost like every 45 days, so it's not like it's not like it's a long wait in between time. But I mean, she's ready to live the daily life with her husband. She's ready for that. So, I told her next year that beginning of next year it'll be me there on a permanent basis.
Yeah, that's when the fun happens. Oh man, that's when you have those sometimes arguments and get on each other nerves.
But we typically vibe good, man. When we around each other, man, we vibe good. Like it's cool. Um, I make her laugh. We both like to cook. We both like to eat. Um, you know, we like to get out the house. So I mean, I think she likes my energy, my presence, my personality. Um, obviously things are gonna piss you off, or you might have a disagreement or argument. I mean, those things are gonna happen. But when I'm in Colombia, though, she don't really hold uh, grudges as long. You know what I mean? Because it's just the element. It's a insecurity women have when you're in Colombia because they know that there's other women there, and they know that you know they have to tread lightly because they don't want to push you away.
Mm, that's good. So let's touch a little bit more on that. So basically saying that she acts a bit different while in Colombia, but if you guys are out of Colombia, it's a little bit more different or so. How she may react towards you.
Yeah, I think like I said, even when it comes to traveling, there's certain energies. I think that women know how should I say this? Women know when there is competition in the air, so to speak. Um, and it's just like being it's just like being in the U.S. versus Colombia, right? When I'm in Colombia, or when a man is in Colombia, he really got home field advantage. When women come to the United States, they really got home field advantage. So an argument, if you in an argument, let's say with a woman in the United States, and you like, forget this shit, man, I'm leaving. The options, or the I would say the perceived options, a lot of women think they have in the matrix, they be like, all right, go, or they be like, you know what, I'll leave. This is in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
In places like Colombia, or where the dynamic is the reverse. If a man is like, I'm leaving, they're gonna be like, they're gonna put their pride aside and be like, no, don't leave, or and they're not gonna be like, I'm leaving, because they know the minute that you are free from them, you're gonna be with another woman. just like a man would assume the same thing in the U.S. If she leaves, he's gonna assume she's with another man.
Yeah. One of the benefits I have here is that I have kids and I have ex wives and things like that. We have great relationships, so that keeps my wife on her toes. So at any point, I'm like, yo, I could leave. And she be like, hold on, where you going? You gotta, keep tabs on me.
But one thing with my wife does, she is a strong woman. It's only so much threats that she could take, and then she'd be like, all right,
yeah.
And then I have to get back and be like, nah, I was just playing. I was just
playing. Or she might call bullshit.
So she know when I'm bluffing, and she know when I'm serious. When I'm serious, when she know I'm serious, like she straighten up. But if she know I'm bluffing, she not gonna call that bluff.
Okay, nice. So with you guys going back and forth and so forth, since you guys been married, what would be your most irritating situation? I would say that you would deal, or you have dealt with your wife.
Man, I think I take notes of this sometime, man. Like, what has she irritated me about? Let me see if I got. I think I'm trying to think of things that's specific to her culturally, not just her being just a woman. I think a lot of things still come down to like the communication, because some things, as you know, can be taken a lot out of context. And so I think sometimes there's a misunderstanding in communication. Even if I translate something or she translates something, a lot of times Google translates things verbatim, and Google doesn't translate things per context. Now, I only use Google Translate when we're having certain arguments, because that's when she uses a full vocabulary of Spanish. When we're just having conversational Spanish, it's pretty like simplified. But when we're arguing, I gotta go to Translate. You know what I mean? I gotta go to Translate. And I do that because I don't want things to be taken out of taken out of context, man. But I'm trying to think of something that it really like irks me. I know I done called you about something, so it's
Yeah. And I told you my hour-long spill about what irks me.
It's like I would say the most recent thing was I guess us looking at apartments, and like I'm trying to convey to her what the budget is, and so like I'm basically I'm researching, I'm sending her like all these Airbnbs, right? That's within my budget. I'm like, which one you like? She like none of them. I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, well, send me a list of ones that you like. So obviously, Airbnb she like is more expensive. So I'm just like, all right,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I'm trying to explain, like, I'm being transparent with finances and everything, but she's just not getting it. She's, thinking somebody being cheap. And I'm like, look, there's a difference between being cheap and being affordable. I'm like, cheap implies that you got the money, but you don't want to spend it. Affordability means that you're trying to live within your means. You know what I mean? So there was some contention, and I think that that's one thing about people that live in a different type of economy. They don't understand how things work in the United States. They don't understand the expenses that come along with everything. They don't truly understand that. And so and they don't understand that we can use credit and credit cards, but that don't mean just because we have credit and credit cards don't mean that I should be pulling from it. Because she could see that I could say I don't have no money, right, for a particular thing, right? But if an emergency comes, I'm able to, maybe use credit or use something to get out of this situation. So she probably in her head like, well, I thought we ain't had no money. How was you able to do all that? So those are just things that even if you explain it to them, they can't conceptualize things like that.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I'm like, we got like the same wife, man. I swear, I had to break that whole thing down to her several times. I think that they just don't want to know anything that have to deal with, finance, anything like that. They just want to be stupid and just spend. It's like have no mind of the future, and that's what I think.
Yeah, man. That's how it be sometimes, man.
Yeah, we got to a couple fights over that. She's like, "Oh, you trying to be cheap? You don't want to spend money." I'm like, "Nah, I'm just trying to be, affordable. I'm trying to do stuff that's affordable, to make sure things look better for the future." you know.
Yeah, that'd be in common. I did want guys to know and understand is that I had an ex that brought up something, and then my wife mentioned something similar before. So I had an ex. So my ex before my wife, I took her to like San Andreas and other cities in Colombia, had a good time. I helped her out with money. I helped her out with money a few times because she has a daughter. But she was always like frustrated, because of her situation. And I was like, why you always stressed or frustrated, And she was like, you don't help me and this and that. I'm like, you're not my wife. I'm like, granted, you got a child, but that ain't my child. That ain't my responsibility, And like the little money I was giving her, I thought I was helping because if she wasn't getting it from me, who would she get it from? Maybe it was like $40-$50 here or there. It's not a lot, but it's something, it's free. To me, it's free money, right? And so, when we, kind of when we broke up, she mentions like, she was like, I enjoy the things that you did for me, but you really didn't help me. because I'm thinking about all the money I spent on trips. If it's our birthday or me buying a nice gift, I'm thinking about all the things I did for us, and they turn it around and make it seem like you did it for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I appreciated you taking me to San Andreas, but that didn't really help me out financially. And so one thing my wife said one day, because we were talking about like the housing stuff, and I had and she was like, well, we going on these luxury trips, you know, um, you know, basically implying that if we can afford to take these type of vacations, then you should be able to spend more money on apartments. So I said, okay. I said, well, we ain't got to go on no damn trips. We'll get this certain apartment, and then don't be talking about how come we don't travel like we used to, you know.
How dare you?
Exactly. So, but it made me realize is that a lot of times, we do things and we think a woman is going to appreciate that. And one thing I learned a long time ago is that people only appreciate the things they ask you for. They don't appreciate the things that they don't ask you for. So none of these women asked me to take them on these trips or vacations. The things that they ask for, those are the things that they really appreciate. So I just wanted to put that nugget out there for y'all.
Yeah, I've learned that myself as well. The same thing about the trips. I try to do trips with my wife. I'm like, come on, let's go, let's do this, let's go do that. She's like, I don't care. I just want a nice, beautiful house. So every time I'm like, yo, let's just go to Vegas. Me, I love to travel, and we're in the States. I just want to show her around, a couple of things. She's like, no, I don't care. I just want a beautiful house. You going to Vegas or these other places is for you. A little bit, 'cause I kind of want to gamble a little bit. So that is what it is. But nonetheless, it's the fact that I still want to leave. It's a way for me to release my stress. So
Yeah,
I want you to understand that.
that's true.
So, but yeah, that's some true information right there. I've learned that myself as well.
Yeah.
So we got a what is it? I think it's called Ebiqui JF. I think that's his name. He said, guys, how can you be surprised that Paris fascinates your wives or girlfriends? By far, Paris is the paradise for shopping and romantic places. As for Spain, remember, your wives are Latin.
Very
Yeah,
true.
yeah, well, not too surprised, but it's just the fact that, they still want to see it, which is same thing like us. We like to go to different places that we want to see, but, just their true fascination for it when there's so many other places they could go to. But it is what it is.
Yeah, that's one thing I learned about a lot of Latin countries. They embrace their, because a lot of them are mixed due to slavery. So they embrace a lot of Latins. They embrace their European culture. They embrace that, opposed to Americans. Um, you know, Americans tend to just embrace American culture for the most part. You know,
But yeah, a lot like to still go try to see Great Britain. They still have this fascination with the whole king and queen dynamic, the monarch, and whatever you could think of. So you notice that every time they have like either a wedding or the funeral, whatever, become to be a whole sensationalized thing here in the States. And I'm thinking like, I don't care.
I don't even. Yeah, I speak English, but I don't want to go to England.
Exactly. That's last on my list to go visit in Europe.
For real.
I'm afraid it's gonna be a little harder for my wife because she doesn't speak English. She knows a couple words, but me taking the English, it's like I think that she definitely love Spain more than anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say one thing that does, I have to make a list of like certain pet peeves, but one thing I noticed is that and I call my wife on this sometimes. Is like the way that the women address and speak to their men. It was with high respect. You know what I mean? And in so many ways, I would say as far as politeness, they are culturally polite to their men to the point where you notice a difference between how they treat their man versus yourself. Because sometimes, like, we'll be in a taxi, and my wife, she speaks with politeness, like, hello, senor, buenas noches, buenas tardes. Like, she's very, respectful in the way she speaks to people. And I'm like, you don't speak to me like that all the goddamn time. You be ready to turn up sometimes. And it's like, I made when we did the stream, I had made a comment like, foreign men can't get away with what local men can get away with. And I think, different people took it different ways. But what I was pretty much trying to say was that, when a woman dates a foreign man, she expects better, better treatment, better things like that, because it's just like our wives, right? If you know different than an American woman, then I might as well be an American woman if I'm gonna deal with that or deal with that. So I think it's, guys have to understand it's the same way too. Like, because some guys probably have the mindset, well, Latin men, they're machismos, they cheat, the women deal with it, or they have other kids, the women deal with it, or whatever things they see the Latin men do. Some foreign men probably feel like they could do the same thing too. No, you don't get that type of you're not going to be allowed to do that, because they might as well date their own men if they're going to deal with that. You're supposed to be a breath of fresh air for them, and vice versa. They're supposed to be a breath of fresh air for you too. So
that's true. I agree with that. My wife had told me that from the start as well. Shining Prince, whatever. So she put me in a higher regard and so forth compared to her regular guys, the regular men that's in her country. So I agree.
Yeah.
Has there? So here's the thing. What I'm looking for Colombiana, they've always been known as being very dramatic. Has your wife been dramatic?
Yeah, I mean, I see it. Yeah, they are dramatic. Like, when it comes to a certain disagreement or you doing exchanges, sometimes you get a novel text where you like, man, I'm not gonna read all this, and like I try to end. I don't like to argue, so I try to just end it, and I'm not saying my wife, but in general, it's, Latino women, they can be they use the word, I just want to express myself. You're like, God damn, okay, you express yourself enough. Like, I get it. I get it.
I swear they be coming with the sad music. It's like the sad violin, whatever they've been hurt. And they feel like they've been hurt.
Man, bro.
I swear. Sometimes they throw the waterworks too, knowing that they are on some BS.
For real. Knowing they on some BS, man. Yeah, man. It's just when they in that zone, I just kind of just let it go, man. Be like, all right, I'm about to take a nap. Yeah, I just try to leave it like that.
Yeah, the funny thing is that my wife, she don't like to argue, but I'm the one who be going back and forth with her. I'm like, no, we're gonna finish this because I'm not gonna come back to this. I'm done after this. Let me see what I gotta say. You blew up on me. I gotta tell you that.
Yeah,
the same boy.
I will say though, man, Latinas can handle they can handle they can handle an aggressive um they can handle an aggressive guy, a man that's forceful. A lot of American women I dealt with, um, because I could turn it up a notch. You know what I mean? I could, if we arguing and I'm trying to drive home a point, or if it's like heated, a lot of black women, especially, man, like they'll leave relationship. They be like, you know what, this is too much. I can't handle this. A lot of women, and I'm not saying that a woman should be in a situation to endure certain things, but Latin women are a little bit more thick skinned, you know what I mean? To the point where it's just like they consider it normal. Like it's normal to have disagreements. So I just find Latinas to be a little bit more thick skinned when it comes to arguments or disagreements. Um, and a lot of men in the US can have strong personalities. And so I think a man with a strong personality, I think a lot of foreign women in general are used to dealing with men with strong personality. And in the United States, women they just don't want to be around a strong personality. So women here will give up a little bit more quicker than Latin women.
Yeah, I want to dig deeper into that, but first I want to say what up to Carlos Brett. Thanks for coming through.
What up, Carlos?
With Josh. I'm sorry for not acknowledging you earlier. So, what are your similarities and differences you would say from your relationships that you have with American women, with Colombian women? Um, I'm not sure if you've been married or so. If you've been married, tell us a little bit about the differences and similarities that you see as far as being married to a woman in the States and to your foreign wife.
Yeah, I never been married in the U.S. I was close, but never married. I would say like I said, one of the biggest difference is that Latin women, the women I've dated in general, they don't really give up on relationships. If it gets too tough, if a dude gets, too aggressive, if a guy gets too aggressive or too masculine around them, they don't give up on relationships. That's one of the biggest things that I've noticed with Latin women. They can handle your mouth. They can handle your mouth. You know what I mean? They're gonna give you some more food. They can handle your mouth. I would say, as it pertains to my wife, I've had women in the United States that were able to cook for me, that was good at cooking. So I won't necessarily say that having a woman that knows how to cook and likes to cook was something that I never had before. Cleaning and maintaining the house. I mean, for the most part, I've had, I was able to choose women that were able to do certain house things like that. I think as far as the level of attractiveness for me, I just think it was more. There's more options for me to have found the level of attractiveness that I wanted outside the U.S. or in the U.S. Like maybe in the U.S., maybe I was able to have a woman that was submissive at maybe a 7, but I was at a 7 at the most. But in a foreign country, I could find I was able to find a woman that's submissive, 8 and up. So I think that is the main, that is one of the main differences. But I mean, the relationships, like I've had some women that had less attitudes than my wife. My wife could get attitudes. She, like I say, she's still a black woman, but our dynamic is good because we're in her country. So the dynamic is different. If she was in, excuse me, if she was in the United States, our relationship dynamic would be different. And so, you know how that could go. So with her strong personality, with my strong personality, the United States wouldn't wouldn't be the best place to nurture our relationship. So we have a better chance of us being in Colombia than us being in the United States, because there's just so many outside factors that play into that. But yeah,
Facts.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's facts. so, so one thing is I could definitely say what you were saying is facts about the whole fact that you have more of a women out of the United States that are 7, 8, and 9 that are more cooperative compared to what you see in the States, and you have women that are like, like the 6, the 5 and 6 are so much extremely easy to get, but a lot of times they're like overweight or bad attitude. So you're like, do I want to deal with this or just go overseas?
Yeah, I'm
Overseas
not. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not finna deal with no bad attitude, and you ain't got no. And you got a flat butt. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Yeah.
Bad stomach, overweight. Oh no, pretty bad situation right there.
No. You know.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. So as for brothers, what is a takeaway you want to give to brothers out there that are looking to take the leap to be with a foreign woman as far as being married, especially Colombiana?
Man. Well, my advice is going to apply to your tax bracket, man. If you in a I'll say this: if you making 6 figures, $100,000 a year, let's say $50 an hour. You know what I mean? You can manage a long distance relationship, marriage in, I would say, Latin America or in the Americas for the most part, or pretty much anywhere. You know what I mean? You can finagle that. If you're making, what's the average salary, like 40, let's say 45,
Mm-hmm.
let's say 45 to 80,000, and you're looking, for marriage. I would say you need a consultation. You need a consultation, because those, it's a lot in play. I would say this: those brothers that's making between 45 and 80, you can afford to take care of a woman in maybe like Asia, like Southeast Asia, for example, even certain parts of Africa. But the only drawback is that it's a longer distance for you to like visit them. So that's the thing, is like in Southeast Asia and certain countries in Africa, you can comfortably afford to maintain a woman or a wife, but it's the travel distance, you know what I mean, is going to be a problem. But in Latin America, it'll be a little bit more pressure or strain to maintain or take care of a woman in Latin America, but you can visit her more often. So it's like, it's not a perfect solution, but like, if you're making, close to 6 figures and up, you know what I mean? Like the world is your oyster. You know what I mean? It's the exception to the rule is, retired military people that's retired, and you basically got like you don't really need a 9 to 5. You know what I mean? Or you have some type of online business, digital nomad. Those are the exceptions. So I ain't talking about the exceptions, but just the person that works a 9 to 5, and it may be a while that you could probably be able to live in another country. But either way it go, if you're not ex-military, if you're not a digital nomad, you need to be owning a house in the United States. If you don't own a house in the United States, there is no way that you can set your life up to either live in another country, to get a certain type of visa to live in another country. Usually retirement visas are based on rental property income. So if you don't own a home in the United States, you probably Let me say this: if you don't own a home in the United States, if you're not ex-military, if you're not a digital nomad, if you're not, I mean, truck drivers is another exception too. I've seen them. I've seen a lot of them make moves. Or I'll say, let's say a truck driver where you could kind of have your own schedule. It's going to be very hard for you to even maintain, or even you should even be thinking about a long distance relationship. You should be just more on the casual dating side. So
My only thing is that I think that brothers that make about 65, I think that's like the lowest you could go and up even before 100K. I think they have a possibility of having a relationship.
to take care of a wife.
Well, yeah, that's if they don't have kids. If they're childless, I could understand being over 100K, making over 100K if you have kids. That makes sense.
Let's do the math real quick. All right, so you said 60. You think is manageable, right?
65.
All right, so 65, right? So how much is they paying? Do they own a house or don't own a house?
See, they could own a house. Possibility.
Yeah, that's a small percentage of black. If we're talking about black men, that's a small percentage out the gate. So most guys are renting, right? So so let's just say they're paying $1,000 for rent, right?
About 1,200 now. Let's say that was inflation.
All right, let's say 1,200. So 60,000, 65,000 here. I'm gonna take away 30% for like taxes. So I'm gonna take away 30%. So that's about 45,000 after taxes. Let me divide that by 12. So it's coming out to about 37.91. You know what I mean? And that's so you could account for. So let's let me be conservative. Let's say 3,500 a month. 3,500 a month, and then we're gonna take away 1,200 for rent, right?
Yep.
All right. So we're a little under 2,500. So if you got a wife, let's just say you got a wife, right? And let's just say we're gonna say rent. If you rent, and let's just say that's 500 a month. So I'm gonna take out 500 plus. Let's just say plus another, depending on the country, plus another 500.
I'll say 3, but I guess go high 5.
All right, yeah, we'll go down to 500. So now you at about 15. You about 1,500 a month after that. Now, if you traveling, how often are we seeing her? Every what? How much?
Well, let's say at least once every 3 months.
So once every 3 months. All right. So that means that let's say the average trip with flight, hotel, and kicking. Let's just say you spend 1,500 every time you travel. So that's like another 500 a month. So let me take out another 500. So now you add about $1,000 a month. So you gotta think about gas, food, utilities.
Well, you got to remember you're by yourself. So if you're looking about, let's say groceries.
I spend 200 on groceries a month at least.
By yourself?
Yeah, I mean I go to Whole Foods, but I spend 200 on myself.
Oh man, by myself, I was spending about $80. No, about $100. Let's say about $100 for 2 weeks. Me and my daughter, I was spending about $150. Right now with the whole family, I spent about $400.
So if it was as a single man, what do you think he should spend a month for groceries?
Let's say about $100.
Man, come on. Out to eat too? So you go to work, so you
No. This is groceries. This not going out.
Eating a month. I'm gonna say 500. Okay. I'm gonna say 500. So now, and that's just food. So now you got utilities. So we got about $500 left. We ain't paid no light bill, no gas bill, no gas in the
by
car.
myself. So of course the light bill gonna be low, the gas bill gonna be low, the water bill gonna be
Now you
low.
live in the north. Now you live up north.
When I was by myself, yo, my gas bill was about $60 a month.
All right,
My water bill,
we're gonna use your numbers. All right, I'm gonna take away 60. I'm gonna take away 60. You super conservative.
yeah, yo, hey, I wasn't doing none. I didn't even leave the house.
All right,
I'm
so
like, yo,
I'm just gonna say
I'll
200
wait for
for
next trip.
utilities. You got phone bill, gas. I'm putting like $75 a week in my car. Basically, you're pretty much breaking even after your main expenses, your flight to visit her and sending her money. You know what I mean? And this is like no emergency situation coming up or anything like that. So 65 is like, man, you really
Right there at the cut. That's the cuff right there. That's why it says 65 and up, depending on how he works finagle everything.
all right, but okay, but now you ain't got no money. You got no savings. All your money is going in and out. You're not able to save
That's true.
for the long term goal. You want to save for a house. You
Or,
want to save for something.
or he could cut costs. He has
Where?
a place down there in Colombia, whatever. He paid that $500 a month. So basically, his airfare about $800. He got to worry about hotel stay. Just worry about food. There you go.
so solo traveler, y'all gonna have y'all being the hobo travelers, man.
Oh man. Hey,
I mean,
gotta make it work.
I'm
How
speaking.
bad do you want it?
I'm speaking of. I was making 65 when I started traveling, and you know, it's inflation, man. But it's something you could test out and see. You know what I mean? Because everybody know their own spending habits, their own responsibilities. Some guys got car notes. On top of that,
That's true.
Some guys like myself get haircuts all the time. It's
If you work from home, you could go, about 3 weeks.
see, he got y'all like really you know what I mean? Just for me, in my opinion, if you making close to six figures and up, you know what I mean, you can it's doable. But if you're making
All jokes aside, yeah. I say, yeah, it's very important. Definitely make some good money. It's very important, no matter what. Me, I didn't start doing my solo traveling until I was like making close to 100K. So that it definitely does matter. It makes a big difference.
yeah, I mean, if you thinking about Asia or Africa for a wife, you know what I mean? If you plan on bringing her to the US, then that's a different conversation. But if you want to be a passport bro that says, you know what, I'm not bringing her here, I'm going to her country. You know what I mean? For Asia and Africa, it's gonna be risky. You know what I mean? Like you risk being cheated. You risk being cheated on because it's just too far. The time difference. The time difference. Like when you're pretty much waking up, she's going to sleep. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? You can't really check on that situation. So it's just going to be very difficult for guys that want a serious relationship with someone in Africa or Asia, unless your intentions is on moving her here, or if you live, I would say, on one of the coastal cities, because if you live in the New York area, you could fly to South Africa nonstop from New York, or you could fly to Ethiopia. It is a longer flight, but you can get back and forth. But if you live in like the middle of the country, it's just more work. Or if you live on the West Coast, you can get to Asia from the West Coast. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, if you're gonna be dating in the Latin America, South America, and DR, it is gonna. You do have to make a certain amount of money to maintain a relationship, and so if you're not in that lane, then you're gonna have to be a person that either moving her to the United States, or what I mean, or if you're like I said, if you're ex-military or digital nomad, um, and just focus on getting a house. If you don't make that much money, focus on getting a house. Once you get a house, you can leverage your situation, regardless of how much money you make. So,
Yeah. But hey, man, thanks for coming here, man. I gotta end this because of the fact that I gotta spend the $400 on groceries.
oh.
I missed when inflation wasn't there. I was spending $300. but hey, man, once again, man, yo, we gotta do another show. Catch up, and of course, you'll catch me on your platform as well sometime soon. Whatever you got going on.
All right, for sure, man. We'll talk soon, then, bro.
For sure. I'm gonna drop you down. So once again, give it up for No Excuse, Passport Bro podcast. So, make sure you guys go ahead and check out his channel. Definitely a cool brother to kick it with, get some information from. Got tons of wealth of knowledge. So, as you can see, and also he's experienced. He has been in the game for a long time. So he has a ton of experience of traveling, as well as ton of experience just in general life and with relationships. So, it's great to get all that information. So go check out his channel. Go check out No Excuse Entertainment, as well as Passport Bro podcast. Those are the two channels that he has. So, but I'll be back with another live sometime soon. I believe next week I'll do another live, if not later on this week. But I'm still gonna be dropping more videos for you guys throughout this week. Of course, you guys see that I've been dropping a lot of new materials, every single day. So things has started slowing down for me, so which is good for you all. I get to release more stuff. So, but hey, it is what it is. Nonetheless, it's your boy, the Solo Traveler, ORD. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and definitely hit the like button because I see that we're low on those likes, man. Only got 2 likes, so please like this stream so that we can spread this information to everyone else. So, but hey, nonetheless, I'm out. Peace.